Welcome to the frozen land of Eleum Loyce, a kingdom once ruled by the Ivory King, a high-ranking knight from Farasa. One day, below his kingdom, he discovered the old chaos, the same untamed chaos created long ago by the Witch of Izalith. So he and his oracle Alsana, another fragment of Manus, attempted to stave off the chaos to no avail, even building a chapel atop it and a seemingly endless wall around their kingdom in hopes of containing the flames. Eventually, as a last resort, the king and his most trusted knights traveled straight into the heart of the chaos itself, but never returned, apparently devoured by the flames. Now I'm here with my mage Laurentia, planning to explore this doomed kingdom and find its lost king's crown. This has always been, by far, my favorite of the 3 Lost Crown DLCs, and my single favorite part of Dark Souls 2. From the sort of painted world art direction, to the level design, to the epic final showdown. Yeah, this is what Dark Souls is all about to me. So I just arrived a minute ago. I tagged this bonfire and heard the voice of Alsana herself tell me to turn back. Of course, we're not going to do that. You know, you kind of get Gates of Boletaria vibes approaching this gate in this wall. In we go to frozen Eleum Loyce. There's the cathedral up ahead, obscured by the winds. Aava, the king's pet. We'll deal with Aava a little later on over there. For now, yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of power we have against these rampart warriors. These were the Ivory Kings, members of the Ivory King's army, who have since been consumed by the chaos, by the weather. A lot of tragic figures here. This obvious clash of fire and ice. It's so on the nose, yet it's just so cool. And I can't really think. I think we got a guy right here. Yep. Let's charge him. Oh, whiff. Backstab? Nice. Can't really think of another part of the Dark Souls trilogy where we get this kind of dichotomy, this kind of conflict between fire and ice quite like this. This is really cool. Now, I want to say the retainers only aggro. There we go. Another backstab. I want to say the retainers only aggro once the weather has been cleared. But I don't trust them. I'm going to take them out anyway. I think we get a peek right here into more of the level. We'll go through this section later. Yeah, pretty cool. That's a nice little touch. I know we have some dogs down here. Oh! Oh, man. Totally forgot about this guy. Another backstab for you. Fell for the old enemy next to a door trick. Yeah, so the weather subsides once you defeat the king's pet and go see Alsana in the cathedral. Alsana is responsible for this weather. I think she is maybe both trying to ward people away from Eleum Loyce. She's trying to just keep people away. She's trying to deter people with the winds. But then it kind of feels like she's combating the old chaos too, with snow and ice. You can actually skip a lot of what I'm doing right now by just fighting the tiger boss as soon as you enter the city. It's a lot harder because you can't see the boss, and that's not really the kind of playthrough I'm looking to do here anyway. Even obscured by these winds, this level's just gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it. Now you're going to see me using my dark hexes a lot in this level because I know a handful of the enemies have dark weakness. I'm also going to be relying on my homing magic as well, just to help me out. That's what makes Eleum Loyce a little different than... Oh, yeah, see it right there, case in point. Different from the other 2 DLCs is you just have a ton of casters and magic users here. So combat takes on a really different flavor. It's not just melee, it's long range, it's dodging, it's maybe fighting one enemy at close range while being mindful of another enemy at long range casting at you. So you definitely have to be careful and mindful and intentional in how you go about this level. Yeah, you can run through it, try to suicide run through it as best you can, but like with the other two DLCs, I'm going to try to be pretty thorough. I'm sure I'm going to forget some secrets. Again, it's been a couple years since I played through this, but I'm not looking to avoid enemies. I'm looking to fight just about everybody and, yeah, to grab as many items and secrets as we can. Ooh. See what I mean? Now these guys with the crystal mass on their back, they're some of the more dangerous enemies you'll find. A lot of poise. Yeah, here's one right here. Oh. Yeah, let's not trap ourselves in this room. Let's not do that. Cool. Getting off to a sloppy start here. Just feel like I'm kind of recalibrating. This opening courtyard, this is definitely oh my god, the reach on that spear. This opening courtyard is definitely the right introduction to this DLC. Oh, and then that guy's sniping me from up on that balcony. Yeah, this is a reality check for you. Yeah, and I just need to take a few minutes here and kind of get back into the swing of this particular groove of the game's combat. I'm just going to sprint around and deal with him. Top off our spell uses. Yeah, we'll pop a dried root. Keep ourselves slowly healing. There's going to be a lot of chip damage throughout this, I'm sure. Deal with this guy first. Nice dodge. Oh, the poise, though. Okay, there we go. Although there is a retainer down here, I just remembered that. Yeah, they're not animating right now. It's not until the weather goes away. Those shrieks are so crazy. They have a lot of HP, too, for being in those, being so scantily clad. You know, we can't cross this bridge right now, but we will later. The goofiest shortcut in Soulsborne history. Just kind of getting the lay of the land here. Trying to jog my memory. I don't think there's any items over here. No, but we will get up on that building later. Again, you can sense this city has just been covered in buried in snow, that it wasn't always once like this. It really feels like a forgotten, forbidden place. This room is another interesting little combat puzzle. We got a bunch of soldiers behind these boxes. I think there's a dog in here too. I'm using Dark Fog on this episode. I don't think I used that spell in Broom Tower or Shulva. Really, really helpful though. Saps HP so fast and is great for mobs and crowd control. Not having a lot of HP, not having a lot of defense, gives me a moment, and not playing with the shield either, it gives me a moment to deal some damage and then take a step back and kind of assess what I'm dealing with, and not having to deal with any enemy at full strength. Yeah, I love Dark Fog. It's a nice alternative to like a Toxic Mist or a Poison Mist or something. We're going to go out into that courtyard later. And we're going to make our way up onto this roof. Yeah, I thought there was a guy up here. Now, I can't recall if flavor text actually spells out that what we're seeing is crystal, like a crystal formation on that enemy type's back. I suppose it could just be ice. That might be an assumption on my part that it's crystal, because crystal's kind of a unique material in the Dark Souls universe. Boy, 4 shots with these retainers. Oh, man. All right, I think we're ready for the roof. And I do believe there's like a golem up here. Yeah. I don't know, I'm pretty sure this is crystal. Because this feels like a direct, this enemy type is like a direct callback to Dark Souls 1. All right. I think we can drop down here. Yeah, just a little bit of damage. This will bring us around the other way. Making sure I wasn't being baited. I was not. These retainers are just so sadistically hidden too. I mean, they're camouflaged by the environment, and so often could be, even if you saw them, you could mistake them for a corpse or something. Yep, here we go over the snowdrift, and now we're ready for the other direction. Just trying to keep our weapons in good shape. Top off spell uses. And we'll have a life gem ready in case we need it. Aren't these doors interesting? Like a really unique asset they created just for this DLC. You don't see those doors anywhere else, I don't believe. Yeah, these guys are aggressive, they're fearless, and I don't think you can backstab them. I think that's why it didn't give me a backstab. Oh, right there. Because of the mass on their back. I just can't remember. Are there snipers? Is there a gang squad coming to get me? I don't know. It might just be... Yeah, it might just be these two. Because none of these retainers are going to aggro. Waiting for him to cast again. There we go. So much poise. Love this sword. There we go. Probably completely unnecessary that I keep killing these retainers, but I'm also curious if they're going to give me drops. Might get unique drops from them. I believe their drops... Oh, here we go. Retainer short sword. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Let's take a quick look. I just wanted to see if we could get some flavor text while we're working through this level. Oh, there it is. Long ago, the retainers attended to the priestesses, but with their disappearance, the retainers were left to wander the frigid Eleum Loyce without purpose. That mention of this part of Eleum Loyce being known as the Garrison Ward, that's pretty interesting too. That feels very Demon Souls, like the inner ward of Boletaria. I think there's a zombie in here. Yep. I'm trying to remember what's down here. I honestly don't remember, and I don't think I'm going to push my luck this close to a checkpoint. Same deal here. I don't recall what's down here. I'm just totally drawing a blank, so instead of gambling, I'm probably going to grab this bonfire. And I'm thinking there's an invader right here. But maybe I'm wrong. No. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Well, I'm a little less worried about enemies respawning in this level, so take this opportunity to heal, replenish spell uses, and I'm going to check my spells here too. Just trying to think about what I actually most need and am going to use here. I think I'm going to lose Dark Hail for another Soul Mass, and we're going to do Soul Spear and then Repair. Yeah. That seems like a slightly better loadout. I don't see me using Dark Hail here. I'll use Dark Orb. It's a little more efficient, a little more accurate. Yeah, I guess no invader. I wonder if there was an invader here pre-Scholar. Just can't remember. Yep, gonna pop that Soul Mask, get Soul Spear ready, or rather Dark Orb. Nice. Yeah, total DS1 vibes here with these guys. They feel a little easier to read, though, than like some of the other soldiers who are just, yeah, I don't know, a lot of poise, a lot of HP. I don't mind fighting these guys as I eat a crystal club to the face. I suppose they could just be made out of ice, and aesthetically they're sort of a cult. Oh, I thought I was behind cover. I guess like aesthetically they could just be a callback to DS1. Because again, I don't know that there's like a lore reason why they would be made out of crystal. Oh my, I thought I dodged that. I guess not. Okay, we got one guy at the top of the stairs, and I bet there's another one lurking around. I just don't know if they fall for... They do fall for the alluring skulls. Good to know. Alluring skulls are a lifesaver in Broom Tower. I don't know how helpful they're going to be for me here. Probably going to pop this life gem. Yeah. I knew there was two. I knew there was two. Oh, nice. Yet I can backstab those guys. So maybe I can backstab the other enemies too. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I haven't played this in years. I want to say this is just a weird little alcove. I don't think there's anything there. Yep, there is this shortcut though back to the first courtyard. So all the enemies will have respawned. But if there's an item, I can grab it. Is there an item? Oh yeah, right here, around the corner. Ring of the Embedded. Oh gosh, I bet this is creepy. What does this say? Ring crafted from the chains of the Embedded receive various benefits, but at the cost of increased damage taken. The chains of the Embedded have the power to transform people into slaves of pleasure, setting them on a path of ruin. This ring augments that peculiar quality. I gotta be honest, I never entirely understood the significance of the Embedded. We encounter one in the base game guarding the Milfinito in Drangleic Castle. I think the key says something to the effect of like the Embedded were so tempted by like flesh You know, like essentially they just lusted after other people to the point where they like locked themselves into these almost like gimp suits. And for some reason, one of their rings is here. Dark Dance. Converts souls into a large mass of dark, momentous mass. Dances to signal the joy of its own release, or perhaps merely to taunt foes as it veers towards them. Hexes are expressions of human depravity. Alright, I think we've pretty much cleared out this courtyard. And I think we face our first knight up here. Yep. I like these enemies. These are cool. They're fun to fight. Yeah, and he can throw his spear at me. Gonna let him come to us. There he is. Get behind for a backstab. Oh! There we go. A lot of health, though. That doesn't kill him. You can see it's like he was put in a freezer. Just frosty all over. Door doesn't... Yeah, it's a shortcut later. I feel like there's a sniper out here. Yeah, I see him. It's not going to let me lock onto him from here. And we'll just pull the lever. Slow dramatic gate. And this leads us out onto the proper ramparts here on the exterior of the wall, which we were looking at earlier. That's pretty cool. Down there, that's a path that leads to misery in more ways than one. I don't know if there's two enemies in here or just the one. Oh! Maybe just the one? Yeah, because this is the sniper from earlier. And we'll come back here later. Look at that storytelling, too. You can see the mimic Frozen. I mean, that's just so awesome. So if you're paying attention and you come through here when the level's frozen, once you unfreeze it, you'll know not to open that chest. I feel like in areas like this, you just see what a better job they did with enemy placement, too. Like versus Broom Tower, where they're so heavy-handed. Like, here, it's like, yeah, they were confident just putting this one cool knight AI on this staircase, and that's it. There doesn't need to be three. There's one. Can I snipe him? I can. I doubt he's just going to stand there and take it, though. Okay. Yeah. Boy, yeah, he's trying to kill me from there. I don't know if he'll come for me. I don't know what kind of leash he's on. I feel like those knights are on pretty long leashes, to be honest. I'm almost expecting him to come running down the stairs for me. Yep, I hear him. There he is. That's interesting how long their leashes are in this level. Alright, even though we don't have the key for the door and we're obviously not going this way anyway this early, we'll clear out these enemies. These zombies are... I mean, they don't do much harm, but they're just enough to make this interesting. You really don't even need to roll with these guys. You can kind of just strafe around them for the backstab. Yeah, because these zombies just swipe at you. You could get stuck on them, you know? They're almost like... Yeah. What does he drop? A small orange burr. So we'll get the key for this door later. There's our coffin, and there's our bonfire in the corner. Cool seeing the bridge and the broken tower where we started, and of course the frozen wastes. I love this level. I'm just so excited to be playing this again for the first time in years. It feels really fresh. I know it pretty well, but it's been long enough that it feels like I'm still rediscovering it to some degree. So that's really cool. Because I do forget some of the enemy placements. Like, I want to say there's an invader over here, but maybe that comes later. Maybe that's after I unfreeze the level. I like it though, you know, like the ballista setup, all the crates, and yeah, you just sense that this city was in like a wartime state. Like they were fighting an army, but really they were just fighting the chaos and I think trying to keep other people away. And I don't know, was it ultimately a failing effort? It would kind of seem that way, given the state of Eleum Loyce. A whiff. Ooh. But that's what really separates the Ivory King from the others, especially the old Iron King. He was just a greedy bastard. But the Ivory King, he was noble. He was respectable. I believe flavor text even says... I'm waiting for those coffins to come up. Yep. So that clears the path below near where we started. And I think there's some items back in there that we're going to want to get. But yeah, like the Ivory King, flavor text says he was prideful but merciful, I think is the way they put it. Like he was proud but merciful. You definitely would not describe the old Iron King as merciful. He just seemed like a mindless conqueror. I mean, the Ivory King literally put his own throne atop the portal to the old chaos. The idea was, as Eleum Loyce's leader, he was going to be the first line of defense against the chaos. So that's just... Yeah, you see, I just made that irreversible jump down into this area. I kind of forgot about that. I kind of forgot about that broken staircase, but no big deal.
Turn away and never look back. No one must ever find that which is sheltered in Eleum Loyce.
Alsana again. She's not threatening us. She is pleading with us that we flee, that we leave this place. Right up here is where we get the eyes of the priestess, I believe, which will allow us to see the king's pet. Yep. So the weather will remain, I believe, until we fight the tiger. And if we defeat the tiger, the weather will relent. Once we go in and meet Alsana. Door does not open. No, that's a shortcut for later. Let's look at the flavor text on that eye real quick. I think it's under keys. Yep. Eye of the first priestess who watched over Eleum Loyce allows one to see the unseen. All of the great priestesses replaced one of their birth eyes with this, returning it after their term was complete. Let's also take a quick look at the Eleum Loyce key. Stone ornament shaped like a flower, cold enough to dampen the greatest heat, opens the door to a new path from the shine of winter found on the road to the great castle. But yeah, it's interesting to... Oh, here's one of these guys. Is he in the Astora set? Is he in the Astora armor? Oh. Oh, yeah. That hammer's no joke. But it's interesting to contemplate, like, did the Ivory King fail? I would say he didn't. I would say the lesson is that if you care so much about a person or a place or a thing, you might ultimately destroy yourself trying to protect or preserve it. It may consume you. But of the old kings, he definitely seems the most noble, the most respectable. Ooh. Probably the most tragic. And I think there's even some text that sort of hints at his relationship with Alsana. Like, he understood that she was a child of Manus, that she was a fragment of the dark. I'm just trying to think how I want to deal with this retainer. See, now they're introducing you to an aggroed retainer. Yeah, they just have a lot of HP. They're damage sponges. She's trying to get off a spell. She might. Yeah. Oh, there's that retainer staff flung out of her hands. We might pick up one of those later. But yeah, I like this idea that he understood who Alsana was, but he still cared for her, and he still saw the value she could add to this kingdom, and her magic was able to keep the chaos at bay to a degree. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that room without a quick heal and spell refresh and weapon repair here at the bonfire. Can't think of anything I'd changed with my loadout here, so we're just going to get right into it. We're going to come in hot and heavy, and that seems to be a really bad idea. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll draw you out. We'll draw y'all out. Oh boy, what a mess. I sort of have nightmares about this room. I think this room killed me a lot in years past. Oh god, there's a retainer right there. You see the fog, though, doing work. The fog did take down that one guy. Oh, this is so silly. See, but it doesn't ultimately give me a backstab on these guys, though. So I guess you can't backstab them. Let's duck for cover, pop a life gem. Alrighty. Surprised that retainer. She just run away? I guess she's on a really short leash because she is not interested in fighting me. Oh boy. Well, and then this room is even more intense later once you unfreeze it. There's this really sadistic mechanic in this level where there's golems, like the golems you find in Dranglake Castle. I don't exactly know why there were golems here. You know, because the golems seem to be something that Vendrick created and used to like build Dranglake Castle and stuff. So why there's golems way up in Eleum Loyce, I don't know. But there's this sadistic mechanic where you can see they're placed all around. Yet if you kill an enemy next to them, they absorb the enemy's soul, and then they come to life, and then they're super dangerous. So it's, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Even still frozen, though, this area is really tough. This is, to me, one of the more memorable parts of this entire DLC. Holy Knight Orheim? This is the guy who hides. I think he cloaks himself. Yeah, he's not going to come after me. That's a good place for the fog. That'll aggro these soldiers down after me. Well, hopefully that retainer dies a slow death. Oh, I was locked in my casting animation. Yeah, I just heard her squeal. She's dead. You know, like when you're playing Sekiro, it's such a rhythm game. It's so rhythmic, like the deflecting and the attacking, the L1, R1. You really can feel it almost when you get out of sync with the dance of combat. When you're just like a split second behind on all your inputs, and it can take a minute or it can take some damage to the face to kind of get back in sync. And I feel that way a little bit, you know, even though DS2's combat system is not quite as complex as Sekiro's. Yeah, I feel like I just kind of got off to a bad start in this area. I'm playing a little sloppy. I'm just slightly out of sync. Yeah, that invader's up here, though. Yeah, be wary of ambush, you bet. I believe I just have to strike him before he strikes me. I think he's right before the right-hand turn. Yeah, he's like right here. Attacking. Yeah, he's right here. Yep, there he is. Because I think if you just start going up that staircase, he'll backstab you. Now, a lot of the invaders that were added in Scholar, like in the base game, I don't think added much value to the experience. I think I talked about that in the previous episodes, but they're often just trolly and ganky and annoying. They just don't feel like they're needed, you know, Armorer Dennis, stuff like that. But I will say these DLC invaders are pretty funny. They're pretty funny. I mean, Maldron in Broom Tower is probably the best example of it, but you even see it here. Like, they were getting pretty clever with their AI at this point, and they were able to program these invaders to play and feel like real human invaders, like you were fighting PvP. Nice. Was able to anticipate that jump attack and finish him off. Yeah, I gotta dial things in though a little bit. I feel like I'm getting just a little sloppy. I've been doing a lot of chit-chatting. I'm nervous now after I saw that frozen mimic. I can't remember if there's any others. See, that's almost more effective if there really aren't. There's only like 1 or 2 mimics. That's all it takes, and then you're nervous every time you're opening a chest. And another way of saying nervous is you're just engaged, you know? Okay, beautiful. And here we are. It's popping us right back out where we started. So I guess, yeah, I'll probably go back. Steelheart Ellie's around. We're not going to summon Steelheart Ellie. Yeah, I think I want to fine-tune my loadout here maybe just a little bit first. I also want to I want to go get that treasure that we opened up when we brought that elevator up with the coffins on it. I also think she pronounced it Aava, which I guess with the double A's makes sense. Maybe it's not Ava, it's Aava. Aava, the king's pet. Lud and Zallen, I think, are the other two. We're not even going to think about them right now. Think happy thoughts. Think about the good parts of Eleum Loyce. So yeah, we'll have this one other guy to fight right here. There we go. I got him that time. Let's repair the sword. Again, it's a awesome weapon. It's super OP, and I think that's kind of how the devs tried to balance it. Was it's pretty fragile in this game. Can't be too sure. Can't be too sure. I don't remember what's in this chest. Soul Flash. Okay. I remember what's up the ladder, though. I'm excited about that. Soul Flash, one of the ancient sorceries that was lost when Eleum Loyce froze over, rapidly fire a barrage of small souls. Okay. Yeah, these DLCs add a lot of cool spells, that's for sure. Now, I don't think I can manipulate this lift any further, because I think this lever is, like, broken or something. Yeah. but I also don't believe there's any reason to move it again. Now, I'm excited about this. We're about to do a little wardrobe change. This is a top 3 set in the entire game for me. The North Warder set. Oh yeah, this is a cool view. Look at that, right where you started. I love the level design here. Yeah, let's check this out. Oh, that's so good. Heck yeah. Robe of a Pharassan sage. In Pharasa, the gods of war were venerated, and sages who led warriors into battle were called North Warders. They earned their title only after completing a great journey of hardship. And practically, it extends the duration of spell effects, which is useful. Yeah, I think all these, I think all the flavor text is the same. This set actually reminds me a lot of Sage Frake's set from PS3 Demon's Souls. And I always wondered with this, because we know the Ivory King was Pharassan. This probably wasn't his set. Maybe it was. I don't think, though. Maybe he had other retainers from Pharasa here in the city with him. I don't know. But there's some Pharasa connection there, which is cool. And it just looks great. The hood. Yeah, it's... what a great set. I'm stoked to have this. Nope. Tit for tat. Now, I'm going to blitz through this area again real quick to get back to where those diverging paths were before that bonfire, where I dropped down from that broken second floor into like that little alcove. Because there were 2 other paths there that I skipped through. And I just can't remember what's back there. So I want to go back there, make sure I didn't miss anything before we fight Aava and permanently change the layout. Now, I think once we unfreeze everything, it's not so much that I'll be locked out of anything that was available when the level was frozen. I think at that point I'll have access to everything, but I don't know, just trying to jog my memory, trying to remember this level. Yeah, I got myself into a bit of a situation here. You see how differently things play out when you just blitz through like this. Nice. Oh, the poise. Crazy, crazy poise. I don't mind a little backtracking though. Again, this is my favorite part of the game. I'm just happy to be here. I'm loving every second of this, so it's no big deal. We'll get access to all these chests pretty soon. I just think this idea of creating one level but allowing players to go through it twice after they've... Again, I wouldn't say terraform as much, but like I've used that term in the other 2 DLCs. I mean, all 3 DLCs, you're like changing the layout of the actual pathways and bridges and ladders and staircases. Like you're just actively changing the level around you. Yeah, this is where Dark Fog's going to be really helpful. Oh boy. But yeah, just that, like the replayability that adds. I mean, literally you're going back through it, but having not done this in 2 or 3 years, I forget little details just because there's a lot of depth here. I just think it was such a stroke of genius on the part of the From team that worked on this game, Yui Tanamura's team, to design this level in this way. You know, I mean, Broom Tower, again, I have some issues with it, but that, you know, descending through a tower almost like Zelda style, it kind of feels like a Zelda dungeon, starting at the top of a tower and going all the way to its base. Just really, really interesting. And it's awesome, like the verticality, the traversal. I'm gonna have to deal with these guys because what I want is out here. Let's maybe kill this zombie real quick. Oh no, there you are. But yeah, like after what they did in Broom Tower, it did kind of feel like they had to top themselves, and I think they did with Eleum Loyce. And I think even to present day, taking into account Bloodborne and, oh my god, the boys. Taking Bloodborne into account, Sekiro, Elden Ring and its legacy dungeons, they still have never done a level quite like Eleum Loyce again. What is this guy doing? He's eating shots to the face and just standing there because he has maxed out poise. That's what he's doing. Alright, let's repair that sword. Let's top off our spell uses. I honestly have no idea what's back here. I feel like it's a big enemy. Oh my god, it's this area. It's the cave with the flexile sentries. That's what this is. But I don't think I can light a torch right now. I'm gonna try it. Yeah, it burns out immediately. Yep. Which, again, there's some environmental storytelling going on here. Like, you see burning torches inside some of the buildings you've gone through, and then you can't light a torch out there, or out here rather, and all of those torches are out. So that's right. I need to go back there after we've dispelled the weather. I'm just double checking this too. If I walk out, yep, it's extinguished immediately by the wind. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we'll come back there later. I can't remember what's in there other than flexile sentries, because you know, why not? Just a couple flexile sentries. Okay. I vaguely remember this. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of the color palette or just, you know, visual elements, what is over here? The old bell helm. That's a cool item. That's a really funny helm. Gorgeous view, question mark? I was expecting it was going to say like a dream. But yeah, if we think of Eleum Loyce as the painted world, you know, it sort of serves that purpose within the world of DS2. If it's the painted world of this game, I just want to make this drop, but I'm gonna die, so I gotta put on my cat boots. I think I've managed to use the cat boots in every DLC thus far, which I'm very pleased with. But yeah, so if this is the painted world, you know, there's shades of this in Bloodborne with a place like Canehurst. In DS3 with both the Ashes of Ariandel and Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. You know, they've done the snow level thing, you know, and then of course Mountaintops of the Giants, which isn't an area I love. Like there's some cool moments in Mountaintops of the Giants, but overall it just kind of feels like a big kind of late game combat arena. You know, it's not real intricately designed, I suppose. So again, they've like dabbled with these aesthetics and this kind of snowy vibe in lots of subsequent games, and you know, I mean, Canehurst is awesome. Canehurst is like one of the highlights of Bloodborne. But I just don't think anything touches this. I think Irithyll of the Boreal Valley, there are quite a few parts of that level that feel inspired by what they did here in Eleum Loyce. But again, I just think there's more depth here. The level design is just superior. It's amazing. It really is. I guess we'll hit this bonfire. Just trying to think what the plan is. Right, so I dropped down that broken staircase, which means I didn't go into one of the towers, because there's two towers. There was the tower with the sniper and all the frozen chests, like the frozen mimic. But then there's another tower. Maybe there's like dogs in it. I can't remember what the deal is, but the completionist in me just says I have to go in there before I fight the tiger. I want to feel like I didn't really leave any stones unturned. I'm probably leaving a few unturned. I've probably forgotten a few things, but I almost want to feel like I've left no stone unturned before we unfreeze the level. And I'm just kind of doing this for my own benefit as well, because I've forgotten some small parts of this level. I've forgotten some details. Can I get him before the sniper hits me? Is this guy gonna come? No. No, he's gonna back down. That's what he's gonna do. Okay, so there's gonna be one knight up here on these stairs. Come on. Come on down. I can't remember if you can get this armor set or one if a set that's dropped approximates that one to some degree, but playing as like a frosty Eleum Loyce knight, like, because I really like sort of cosplaying in these games and doing themed builds and stuff, and that would be a pretty fun cosplay, at least as close as you could get to it. I also, oh look, yep, I am glad I came back, because now this guy's here, because previously I couldn't see him. The priestess's eye reveals the unseen. Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be the Astora set, or it's just a set that looks a lot like the Astora set and isn't. It's definitely reminiscent of that, though. I think of Oscar when I see these guys. Yeah, I'm glad I came back through here. Because I think even if I didn't fight these guys now, they would just be here later after I unfreeze the level. So I'd have to fight them at some point. Look at this. The Pharos Lockstone box, frozen. Little icicles coming out of the eyes. Essential gameplay activities right there. Sadness. Yeah, it is sadness. Because no one really that you fight here is like inherently evil. All these soldiers, the Ivory King, even Alsana, right? Like, she's sort of inherently, I guess, corrupted or corruptible or something just by virtue of being a fragment of Manus. But at the same time, like, she has, you know, she's like this, because she's supposed to represent Manus's fear, right? Because Elana is the wrath, Nadalia is the solitude. Ooh, there we go. And Alsana is the fear. She's not really an antagonistic character. And, I mean, if anything, she's trying to protect us. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. But that's kind of a classic. Oh, this guy's not messing around. He's like, no, if you're not going to come down and fight me, I'm going to come up and fight you. I just want to be careful about knocking ourselves into that room because I don't remember what's in here. I think there's dogs in here, which sucks. But that's a Soulsborne trope, right? Is that often the enemies or bosses you're fighting, they're not really inherently evil. They're tragic. They've fallen or become corrupted in some kind of way. Gascoigne, Artorias, sort of the poster characters of something. Oh, okay, great. No iframes on the chest. All right, now let me open this damn chest. But yeah, like Artorias, Gascoigne, kind of the poster characters of that trope. And I actually feel like Burnt Ivory King has a lot in common with Artorias when you think about it. Splintering Lightning Spear. Ever since miracles came to be, learned men have endeavored to rework and remold them to their satisfaction. This is one such effort, which is why it's the splintered or splintering lightning spear. That's interesting. Nothing. No reaction. YOLO. Oh god, there's even a dog out here. Yep. Soul of a Great Hero. It's a lot of souls. Oh, damn. Yeah, there's like 4 more dogs down here. I might have wasted that fog, honestly. There's so many cool shields in these games. I rarely play with a shield just out of personal preference, but dealing with dogs is one time in which I am not opposed to breaking out a shield. I do feel like the dogs in DS2, like the AI, the programming, they're a little less wild than Bloodborne's or DS3's dogs. I mean, the dogs in DS3, as you're running away from them, will like continuously teleport closer and closer to you as they're chasing. It's bizarre. This set is so awesome. Love it. Again, just getting my lay of the land here, connecting the dots, reminding myself of what's going on. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else down here. There's nothing we can do. Nothing more over here. Yeah, you can't use the eye. The eye is just like a passive item. Okay. Broken staircase is down here. Yep, right here's where we dropped down earlier. I could just homeward bone back to the beginning, but I don't know. I'm just committing a lot of this to memory. There's a bonfire up here soon anyway. Yeah, it doesn't open from this side. Back when I was speedrunning, I never was a DS2 speedrunner, but back when I was speedrunning and I was, not just learning like speedrunning strats for games like DS3 and Bloodborne, but I just had to do a lot of like my own research. Like because I feel like that's the part of speedrunning that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not like there's just this formula and then you memorize it. Like you're just copycatting what other runners have done before you. No matter how you approach speedrunning, you just have to know the game you're speedrunning. Like you have to know every nook and cranny, every pathway, every enemy placement, every item. It's as simple as that. You just have to spend time with the game. You have to spend time dealing with all the enemy AIs, learning their habits and patterns. Obviously, the same goes with bosses too. And I'm just still kind of wired that way. Like, I enjoy running through levels like this, and I just kind of have my own way of committing things to memory. And sometimes it's like just walking back down a pathway I went down earlier and just reminding myself, like, oh yeah, this leads to this door or this shortcut or this bonfire, right? So that's kind of how it's almost like muscle memory, or it's just ingrained in me. It's how I play these games to this day, even though I'm not actively speedrunning anymore. You end up accumulating a lot of otherwise useless knowledge about these games and in their systems. All right, so for the tiger, what do we want here? I don't know that poise reduction is going to be all that important. Ring of Blades is not... I mean, unless you're like dual wielding and doing a lot of DPS, Ring of Blades is like not actually that useful, because it just adds like a flat attack bonus on top of, whatever you're doing. If you're doing like 600 damage, maybe now you're doing like 620. It's really not that meaningful. Flynn's Ring might be the way to go. I'm a big Flynn's Ring fan. And, my max equip load is so low. Armor doesn't really matter here. We want speed and iframes. Do I want my staff, though? That's the question. Yeah. I think we'll keep the staff on deck just in case, and I'll keep my spell ring equipped again just in case. I don't think I'm going to want to resort to casting though for the tiger. I think I'm just going to keep this up close and personal melee, just kind of old school. So yeah, you can actually skip a huge chunk of this level. Like, as soon as you enter Eleum Loyce, you can just come right through this fog gate and fight the tiger and go see Alsana. Here we go. Nice. Yeah, but the tiger is obscured by the weather, so after you get the priestess's eye, then you can see Aava and experience the fight like I am right now. Okay, so I remember this one pretty well. I got the timing down. This to me feels like just a sort of a slightly evolved, like, Sith Royal Rat Authority style fight. You want to get under the belly, hang out by these hind legs. There's an intimidation factor with a boss like this, but it's actually not too bad. Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about them giving the tiger that hit, but okay. Okay. And when you stay right up on the tiger like this, I feel like the AI is a little less inclined to do some of the casting, some of the magic. C keeps trying to establish that distance, but I just keep closing it, prompting that chomp attack. Yeah, got this pretty dialed in. Yep. It's almost like in the way you'd fight a dragon in a lot of these games, where you kind of want to stand in front of the dragon to get them to breathe fire so you can go hit them in the face. I feel like it's a little bit of the same principle here with the tiger. Yep, so you want to just keep baiting that attack, get under the belly, and we're done. Yeah. We gotta put our sick North Warder set back on. I don't know. I guess if I had to think about it, this might actually be my #1 set in the game. In recent years, I've really taken to, when I revisit DS2, playing as a mage, playing as some kind of magic character. And when I'm playing that way, this robe and hood is exactly what I want. All right, Let's go see her. I'm going to hit the door just in case, but yep, confirming that it indeed does not open from that side, and we'll get that shortcut later. Making our way up. Well, and From Software is so good at those environmental wow moments, like the first time you see Anne Orlando, the first time you see Liurnia of the Lakes from those cliffs. And Eleum Loyce is no exception. It's just interesting that, like, I've been in the level for an hour now, and we're just about to get that moment. Because the way they've designed it, it makes the level feel all new. And you really see it clearly for the first time once the weather's dispelled. It's just so cool. Even this entryway. This cathedral's awesome. Built right above the chaos. I also never took it as, like, Eleum Loyce is literally on top of what was Lost Izalith. I don't take it that literally. I think the idea is just that that untamed chaos is just spread everywhere. Wow. What a chamber.
To think Aava could be bested. Who are you? This land is barren, cursed by the old chaos. It gave birth to atrocities, and the people fled in fear. Until our Lord, the Ivory King, came. My dear Lord, a most true king. It was with his magnificent soul that he built Eleum Loyce and contained the spread of chaos. But the chaos would not be sated, and the king gave his own soul. Inevitably, the king was drained of vigor and plunged into the chaos's heart. Eleum Loyce was frozen in time, its leader lost. I remain here to contain the chaos, honoring my lord's wishes. Perhaps one day he will return. There is nothing here save that accursed flame. I have but one wish. That my dear Lord might be freed from that unspeakable chaos. I haven't the strength to help him myself. But perhaps one such as you. Though I am yet to know your name, stranger, will you lend me your strength? Kind visitor, I thank you. Let me open the path to chaos. And please, do all you can.
Alsana's seal is undone, and the winds of Eleum Loyce are ceased. And you can hear the ice exploding all around the city outside.
Many of Eleum Loyce's faithful knights followed their lord into the chaos. But not one of them returned. The king's dutiful subjects waited patiently for his own coming. But it was too long a wait to bear. The knights of Eleum Loyce await a new leader. One who will guide them into chaos.
A new leader they shall have. This is so badass. So, right down here's that portal. And one Loyce Knight stands ready to join us. We're going to go find his 3 bros. Now, we could go fight the boss right now, but what fun is that? The whole point is to go down with the remaining knights to try to stop the chaos and find the lost Ivory King. So we're going to do just that. You see her barrier, these sort of fingers, very reminiscent of Bed of Chaos as well.
Many of Eleum, but
Yeah, no new dialogue right now. Yeah, I mean, most of these games end weirdly. From Software loves to subvert your expectations. From True King Allant to Elden Beast to Moon Presence, the endings aren't exactly what you would think. Let's try to get a look at her. We can't really from here. Now, you can kill her with arrows, actually. I think you can get her soul that way, but then there's some other stuff you can't get. We're obviously not gonna do that right now. But yeah, I mean, like DS3 is kind of an exception with Soul of Cinder, but these games typically don't have these epic endings. Why do I think there's a mimic here? I'm just paranoid about mimics. I'm convinced this is a mimic. It's not. Okay. I think there's a cool shield in here, though. Yeah, the vessel shield. That's right. This shield is badass. Let's take a look. There it is. Depicts a priestess of Eleum Loyce, emanates a certain heat that heightens the ability of its bearer. The priestesses, who always devoted themselves to appeasing the ancient flame, are no longer. I actually want to take a look at this. Yeah, we can't use it right now with my stat allocations, but that's a cool shield. But this DLC does kind of end on a just pretty epic note. I mean, what a send-off for this game. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. So what we're really seeing is this garrison ward of Eleum Loyce. I keep saying the city. It's not really the city. That's the city. You can see the city out there in the wall that just goes on and on and on as far as the eye can see. Seeing way out there, that's the city. Oh, and there's the tower where one of the Loyce Knights are, who we're going to save. Yeah, this is that kind of front part, though, of Eleum Loyce, right behind the wall. As they call it, the garrison ward, where all the troops are. Yeah, and then it's kind of surreal running through here with no tiger and full visibility. I mean, it's really shocking to the senses after you've spent an hour with low visibility, and now everything's crystal clear. Man, they just nailed this level. It's just so damn good. Yeah, look at that. Look at those mountains way in the background and the city stretching as far as you can see. Cathedral, very epic, very reminiscent of, the Anne Orlando vibes. Wow. Yeah, say what you want about DS2. It's a polarizing game, we all know that. I will defend this DLC. I will die on the hill that is Ivory King in Eleum Loyce. This is good stuff. All right, Groundhog's Day. We know the drill here at this point. I remember the first time I played this, it really got me excited because as you make your way through this level, you appreciate how many things you don't have access to, how many things are frozen over. So as you start to dive back in, you start remembering all these little spots where there was something frozen. It's like, oh, I gotta go back here. I gotta go back here. I gotta check this out. Yeah, and all those retainers are gonna be aggroing this time, I believe. Love this sword. From is just so good at making a basic sword or axe just feel fun and satisfying to swing. No matter who or what you're swinging it at, it just feels good. Yeah, look at this. We can see down in here now. I love how the bottom part, too, is all forested. You can't really appreciate that when you come through the first time. Yeah, nothing new here. Yep. I don't know if I can register a proper backstab on the retainers. Ah, the retainer staff. I thought we picked up one of these at some point. I guess it's really similar to the description for the short sword or whatever it was we picked up earlier. Also interesting, the flavor text refers to Eleum Loyce as the cathedral city. I always kind of wonder how close or not close these translations are. I'm also equipping a shield for later because of the little ice rats we're going to have to deal with. I'm already thinking about them. Oh boy, we got a whole crew. Yes, we do. It is dark fog time. You better believe it. Remember that comment I made earlier about how they really like fixed the enemy placement problems from Broom Tower here? That didn't age real well. Love it. Sneaking up on me, eh? 4 hits, though. That's so crazy. Maybe it's like a magic resistance thing. Maybe it's just the weapon I'm using. I can't remember, but yeah, that's kind of wild. I also like how my clothing is all frosty. That's just a nice little detail as you play through this level. Guess I'll just lure them out. My strategy to barrel in last time definitely didn't work. That spear, though, the reach on that spear is wild. It would be fun to play through this with some heavy armor, a heavy shield, ideally a heavy armor and shield set that has some magic resistance, and yeah, just tank your way through this level and through all these enemies. Although I enjoy the mage play style too. feel like I'm a little more of a scallywag running around, shooting my mists, shooting my orbs, swinging my big shiny sword. It's a lot of fun, though. And there he is, just dropping dead. Whiff. Nothing changes here. I don't know if I'm going to go down this elevator yet or not. I don't... We might come back later for that. I want to go pop those chests on the roof. I knew that retainer was coming. I don't think anything changed with the level over here. No. You know what? Let's go down the elevator. Let's mix it up a little bit. Dark fog is going to be my friend in this first encounter. I believe it's 3 rats just eating a corpse. Yeah, quite the introduction. They're kind of like the bone wheel enemies from DS1, but I don't know, worse. Because they'll just roll right into you, add a bleeding effect. Yeah. I can't remember how many, maybe just 1 or 2 in this opening area. And these pillars, I mean, you can kind of use them to your advantage, but it also makes you a little nervous too. It's clever. Okay. Sellsword Lewitt. Why not? Why not? I thought there was a shade down here. Let's bring Lewitt into the mix. This is a fun little arena. Fun in quotations. Got 2 invaders. Okay, Lewitt, enough with the gesturing. Nikolai here's coming for us. Come on, Lewitt, do something. Jesus. I mean, he's just standing there. I've been very disappointed with the friendly AI. If you watched the last episode, just how useless they are. Alright, he's done. Gonna make a really obscure reference. These witch tree enemies here, these are like snowy, frosty versions of the ones that also appear in the old chasms of the Abyss in the base game. I think there's a, yep, right around this corner. I think I remember where they're placed. But anyway, these witch tree enemies 100% remind me of the Winter Warlock character from the Santa Claus is Coming to Town stop motion 1970s movie show thing. Just Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. And if you do know what I'm talking about, you're like, oh yeah, 100%. That's exactly what these are. It's kind of funny. I guess Luit, he's like this dual great shield wielding bro. He's not that useful other than that he just aggroes everything. He just takes aggro away from you, which that is useful in its own way. Look at this guy hanging out on the edge. Luit's not real useful, but he's here. He's down. A for effort, Luit. Now I gotta get up here. This invader, he literally waves at you. He appears as a white phantom. So a lot of people, first time around in this level, think he's friendly. And then he'll just backstab you and kill you. Even with Luit standing right here. Luit's not gonna do anything. We're just gonna let that fog do its job. And pop this chest. No idea what's in this. Feels like it should be something good. Bolt stone. Yeah. But yeah, we're not falling for this guy's shenanigans. I've been down this road before. This is a shoot on sight situation. Yeah. Forget it, buddy. Ain't happening. No, no, no. No, no. And he'll take off running, too. Yeah, he's going to go try to heal himself. And I mean, if you're doing this, having not dispatched, the other enemy AIs in the area, I mean, he just leads you around. You're chasing him. Yeah. Come here. Come here. No, 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 no. You're done. You're done. That's enough of that. Oh my God, look at him run. We're just whiffing. I'll get him on the ladder. Oh, what a dramatic death. Yeah, that guy is a troll to the max. Because you get a notification for Nikolai, but you don't get anything for that white phantom. I don't even know what his name is. He's just here. It's such a dirty trick. It's kind of funny though. It's like Muldrin, right? It's the Muldrin of Eleum Loyce. Not quite as memorable, but now I think this leads to the white covetous demon. Which again, why is there a white covetous demon? Why are there flexile sentries? I don't know. I guess they figured in a few kind of optional corners of this final DLC, they would just throw some super tough enemy encounters. All right. Luit's bouncing now that we got the bonfire. It's kind of a random bonfire. I guess it's just a safety one. If you're really having trouble in this arena. This is pretty ripe for being a PvP arena also. But yeah, if you're having trouble here, you have that bonfire as an option. Now, I can't remember, other than cosmetically, if there's any differences with the covetous demon being white here. I don't think there is. I mean, you fight him the same. Just so funny to me of all the bosses they could bring back and chuck into a cave in a corner of Eleum Loyce. It's the freaking covetous demon. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on out. There you go. Basically just want to bait those belly flops and punish him. The lore on Covetous Demon is... Oh! Caught a swipe there. The lore in Covetous Demon is so unhinged. The deal is essentially that this guy, well, he was a guy, he was like a human male. He was really lonely, really desperate, essentially got rejected by somebody, and that just made him really depressed and freak out and turn into this thing. So it's just like the biggest bummer ever. I mean, look at him. He was flopping around because he like didn't get a date. He ain't getting one here either. See you around, buddy. I think there's an interesting ring down here. Large club +8. Sure, we'll take that. Okay, he drops it. The Ivory Warrior ring. Attacks greatly reduce enemy stamina. Ring of the Guardians of Eleum Loyce. Existed to subdue the raging flame, but when the ivory gates were flung open, the land grew cold and lifeless. Items all over the shop. I think we have a rat trap around this corner. Where's Tengu of Ashino when you need him? It might be immune to dark fog, actually. Oh boy. They're almost cute, you know? Almost. You can just imagine a parade of them rolling down this hill. I don't think that happens, but all it takes is one or two to put you on edge. Shortcut ahead. I vaguely remember this. Yep, so this leads into the forest with the golems. We'll come back for this. And here's one of those unmistakable doors. Okay, brings us back out here. And close to that bonfire we grabbed earlier. Now, I just can't remember if I don't think you need these golems to do anything. Like, I don't know that there's any advantage to activating them all. Cool perspective. You know, because in the base game, you learn to use the golems and strategically kill enemies near them. Whereas here, I think you're penalized for doing that. I'm just not 100% sure. I mean, I know you're penalized for doing it, but I just can't remember if there's any good reason to activate them all. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that stun locking. Oh my god. Those things will kill you so fast. As will the golems, but the rats scare me way more. Oh god, what a mess. I think I might just run for the elevator. I don't know, there's probably, yeah. Probably just a trap. I think they're subverting your expectations again. You're used to doing things one way. You're used to using the golems to your advantage in the base game, in the DLC. They're here to hurt you. Look at that view. Look at some of those cool, unique buildings out there. Those aren't just all recycled. Wow. might have Dark Fog immunity too. I mean, it would make sense because they're not... Like, nothing about them is human-like. They're monsters. Soul Spear, maybe? Go through a couple of them? Get myself into a bit of a predicament here. There's obviously an invisible wall for them. They can't come into the elevator shaft. It ain't pretty, but I guess this will do the job. I mean, they can't cross this invisible line yet. They could definitely swing through it. As evidenced right there. Yep. Yeah, I got myself into a bit of a pickle here. Although I think this part of the level just is a pickle. This feels so clumsy. Whatever. Doesn't have to be pretty. Alright, get it together, Tara. Get your act together. Let's go grab these items that have been taunting us for a long time. And then we'll fight our way up to this tower, which is a pretty cool little section of this level. Ah, Azal's staff. Sage of Farasa, rather roughly crafted, but imbued with the magic of Azal, greatly intensifies spells, but also drastically reduces spell usages. And unfit for the inexperienced. Yeah, it is just like this gnarled tree branch of a staff. What's the deal with the Black Witch's staff? There's a lot of cool magic weapons in this game, for sure. These are my two favorites, which is why I'm using them with this character. Here we go. Up to free one of our Loyce Knight buddies. You notice you do a lot of downhill fighting in this level, but this is definitely a section of uphill battling. Whoa. Level geometry helped me out there a little bit from getting totally smashed Smo style. I don't think there's anything over on this side. Nice job, of course. I don't remember all the enemy placements, but there's a lot of them. Of course. Wonder if I could use this little hill to my advantage. Nice. Come on. Will they not drop down this hill for some reason? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the hill did help me. Wow, look at that. I mean, come on. This is amazing, this level. Nice. Now I think that corpse and item, that's a trap. There's definitely a knight around this corner. Oh, and a rat. I think there's a knight. Yeah, there's a knight farther down. Okay, I aggroed him. Good enough. Like a dream. By the way, are you ready? Makes you wonder what that giant building is over there. Another cathedral-looking place. And then those two towers right there. There's just... yeah, I love how it's not just all cut-and-paste buildings. There's some really cool assets out there that they bothered to create. Just kind of get your imagination going about what was this place like in its prime. Oh no! Oh no, wall whiff! That's no good. There we go. That'll do it. Now what's this item? Vine balm. Just a little quick inventory check. Might as well pop these souls I've been carrying around forever. That might be it for the enemies. That night might have been the last one. You ready for this? It's so ridiculous. Yep, there it goes. It's going to keep going, and you know what it's going to do. It's going to plug the hole in that bridge. Naturally. This is from Soft being goofy, because they obviously did not have to do something like that. It's really odd, like this growing snowball object they created just for that moment. Pointless ahead. Yeah, as you know, much as these games are sort of thought as of just being bleak and difficult, I don't know, people kind of underestimate how goofy From Software is, their sense of humor. Hey, buddy. Time to wake up. You have a new lord. Hurrah for ally. A knight of Eleum Loyce seeks the chaos. Heck yeah. Oof. Man, there goes half my health pool. I am going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see. What do we want to do? We want to go back down the elevator, I think. Oh, and look who's waiting to greet us. What a lovely welcoming party. Ugh. Can't believe they stayed aggroed this whole time. Yeah, there's clearly no use for the golems. They're just here to make things more difficult. Boy, Dark Orb is the way to go with these little ice rats. Pharaoh's Lockstone, which is convenient. I think I have a bunch, but there is one up on the ramparts. Yeah, I don't know. Do I fight them? Do I not fight them? Maybe I fight them, kind of. I don't know. Dark Fog probably does nothing. my god. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here, because I don't need to farm souls or anything. I don't know that they have any unique drops, worthwhile drops. Oh my god. Hit the wall 3 times. No, I don't drop anything. So yeah, this is just a trolley zone in general, I guess. Maybe I just take care of the rats and then grab that item over there. Alright, that's my moment. All that for some charcoal pine resin. Yeah, let's get out of here. Insert fatty message. Yeah, it's just a troll arena. There's really no point to it. All right. I feel like I might have forgot an item when I was here earlier. I did. Sixth sense is tingling. Must collect all the items, even if they're just resins and burrs. Alright, so we got 2 more nights to free, so let's get on to that. Yeah, I like that tower, that bottom forest portion. I don't know, I guess it's just to make the ascent up to that tower to free the knight a little more difficult. Yeah, and I cleared all this out earlier. But not these guys? Right. Once again, our good friend Dark Fog. Whoa. We can always use another life gem. Look at the dude trying to snipe me from all the way out there. Yep, here comes the first retainer. And the second one, I don't think she's going to come down, because she's closer to the other door. Yeah, let's go get those chests on the roof. Yeah, those guys are just tanks. And then we'll have the one golem up here on the roof. Yep. Oh. Caught the wrong side of that attack. All right. Amazing view. Praise the sun. Okay, divine blessing. Sorcerer's Twin Blade. That's fun. And a Soul Vessel. Okay, that's a pretty good haul right there. What's the deal with this Twin Blade? Let's see, Twin Blades are down at the bottom of my inventory, I think. Doubles as a catalyst for sorcery. That's really cool. Wow. Totally forgot this item even existed in the game. I don't believe there's anything more to get over here. All right, so we can shoot over into that next courtyard. No, here come the retainers. Boy, I didn't realize they were going to charge me right away. Look at him just waddling away. Come on. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I thought that prompt meant to pick up an item. Just making sure the door's up to code, that's all. Get a stun block. So far, so good. All right. So now we can suss things out a little bit. Drops a torch. That's clever. I don't think anything's different about this pathway versus the first time we came through. Whoa. The views are much improved, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to press on this way. So we can go back and deal with that sealed door and the torches. I guess brazier is probably the correct term. I have a torch. These are braziers. Yeah, let's light them up. Light them up. You know, it just occurred to me we did not look at Aava's soul. Each of the Ivory King's 7 beasts was conferred a specific duty. Aava's was the guardianship of the king's beloved child of dark. Wow. Okay. It's also occurring to me that, yeah, I really don't think there's any lore reason whatsoever why there's a Flexile Sentry here. Because the Flexile Sentries are basically like guards, or I think they're like the ferrymen for the Lost Bastille. They're obviously like, these abominations, but trap ahead, therefore be wary of right. Yeah, I actually think there's 2 Flexile Sentries in here. Yep, there's the first one. This is such a confined space I'm going to rely on Dark Fog. Yeah, I thought that would be effective. But is it going to cause aggro? I guess not. Huh. Maybe that says something about the Flexile Sentry's level of intelligence. Oh boy. Fog's doing the business. Surprisingly easy to take down as a sorcerer. I feel like most of my memories of fighting Flexile Sentries are as a melee character, but that was a piece of cake. I actually think there's a second one over here. There is. Yep. And then all these retainers, and I don't know how the aggro works. I think if you aggro one, you aggro them all. Yep. Yep. So obviously, if you just run into this cave, this is going to turn into a hot mess fast, and you will die. I'm just going to rely on my friend here, the Dark Fog. Ultimate crowd control spell. I just saw one, yep, drop dead in the corner of my eye there. Oh, here comes one. Oh, you avoided the fog, huh? Don't want to break my sword. Let's introduce you to a Dark Orb. Let's do that. It's my favorite spell in the game. It's my go-to. It's fast, it's powerful. Love hexes. Alright, top off our sword. I guess before we go grabbing items, maybe I can fog this one too. Although I might need to drop down to the next level to do it. If it's just me and one sentry, this won't be a big deal. Yeah, no aggro on the fog. Interesting. I'd assume he's coming around. Or did he get stuck in the tunnel? Yeah, I see the HP bar. He's stuck in the tunnel. Brilliant AI here. Another retainer short sword. Okay. Oh, oh no. I talked smack too soon. Wow, that's a sliver too. I mean, these sentries are way more powerful. Oh, that's right. This is where the garrison ward key is. The garrison ward was built to confine chaos, and Eleum Knights remain there today, waiting for someone to lead the advance on the Swollen Flame, faithful to the king's final orders. All right. Now that leads us into the final part of the DLC, which I guess we'll do at the end. I'm kind of dreading it, but... Oh yeah, there's an illusory wall here. Is this like a fist? Yeah, bone fist. Cool. Let's take a look at that. Enables one to fight with inhuman strength as if the very spirit of the bone's malicious owner has taken control. That's such a random cave. I mean, I'm not complaining that they're offering more content and more secrets and stuff, but that's so random. Do we want to hit the bonfire? Yeah. We don't need to. Just keep it moving. We want to get back inside these garrison ward buildings. All those rooms around the next bonfire. There'll be a lot more to explore in that area now. All right. These retainers are waking up. Yeah. So one downside to Dark Orb. It doesn't have the greatest distance. Doesn't go that far. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, actually. Targeting was screwing with me. All right. Maybe we can... There we go. We can fog the retainer, though. Oh. There's our backstab. Come on. Come on down. I know you want to. Wakey, wakey. For real. Alright, here she comes. She only aggroes once you've drawn the aggro of the other enemies. Nice and sadistic per usual. Let's get a little bit of breathing room here, jeez. Not so fast. Come on back. There you go. It does make you wonder, though, who at FromSoft was like, yo, let's design this whole level, but then let's obscure it in, like, winter weather. And block off certain areas with ice. And then you'll break the weather and go back through the entire level with better visibility and all new pathways and secrets. It's just like, it doesn't sound that complicated, and it's not like this is the first video game to do something like that. I mean, again, that almost feels like a Zelda convention, you know, like a Zelda temple. Which Broom Tower, to me, feels a little bit like a Zelda temple. But it was a very, very clever idea that, again, they just don't really do in any... Of course, Fatty. They never really do again. Not exactly like this. I'm so tempted by this alcove, and I think that's why it's here. Yeah, bonfire? No. You wish. Nope. I fired that soul spear way too late. Oh, geez, now I'm getting sniped. It's not looking good. Let's take a chug of our flask. And he's done. You know, he's got to suffer. He's got to pay the price. And all of our chests are in here. Another life gem. So many healing items at this point. Oh, hello. I don't remember inviting you to this party. Yeah, if you feel like you're out of heals at this point in the game, I don't know, you're just not managing your resources right. I mean, there's the rogue water, the life gems. I mean, at this point, you should have 10 plus, you know, swigs out of your flask. There's just so many options. And I think it's cool. I think it's cool. It ends up feeling a little bit more like Demon Souls or Bloodborne with like grasses or vials. I like it. I dig it. By this point in a playthrough, though, I will say the inventory management is approaching Neo territory. Items on items on items. Let's just make sure we're ready. I think the last one is the Mimic, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you can almost see the latches over there are a little different. Oh, a slab, cool. Yep, so that must be the giveaway. Even if you didn't notice the frozen Mimic earlier, which is pretty hard to miss. Yep. And I believe this Mimic actually gives you the Avarice hat. Oh, God. Always unsettling. He's done. No, it's the Katarina armor. I swore you got the symbol of avarice here. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe that was another DLC. Oh my god. I love how the arms just pop out. This armor appears rather absurd. Yes, it does. Again, why does a Mimic have Katarina armor in Eleum Loyce? I don't know. I don't think it matters. From's just throwing some fun items at you at this point in the game. Figure we'll just go down and use this key and at least catch this bonfire. It'll make it easy to come back to later and we won't have to do this again. They've always had a thing with the coffins, you know. The Nido coffin in DS1. I mean, even in Elden Ring, right? Surfing down waterfalls and coffins. Yeah. Quite the view, though, of the frigid waste. Yeah. Again, think happy thoughts. We don't have to do that right now. I'm eager to go use a Ferrous Lockstone now, too, that the level's unfrozen. Because I think I remember what's back there. I think it's that very kind of Lucatiel Bloodborne-inspired hat, I think. That, like, makes you more deadly as an archer, I think, like when using bows. It's one of those items that almost feels just out of place, you know? It's like the team on the other side of the office was working on Bloodborne at this point, and they were like, yo, we're not using this. Do you guys want this? Maybe that knight's not coming. Oh, there he is. He's retreating. Go get him so I don't forget about him later. Got a number of things up here, though, that we can... Oh, fail. Might have mentioned that on the last episode, but again, I wish you could manually control when those fire. That would be really sick. Because every once in a while you have a moment like that where they're just wasted. Okay. So we have a chest out here we can get. But not before we kill this retainer, which I don't know what makes her aggro if that didn't. Didn't think I saw you, huh? Yeah, I really think those frozen latches are the giveaway. Mushroom. Oh, hello. Just what I wanted. Another one of these guys with a spear. It's always great when you can catch an enemy like that from behind. Stagger them quickly. They never have a chance. Yeah, this leads us down to where the dogs are. And here's the little area we peered into earlier. You can actually see the bars right over there. This section gets sweaty. It's sort of a neat little descent, though. It's a pretty unexpected part of this level that I feel like you could just totally miss. We'll go use the Ferrous Lockstone after this. I can't remember what the kind of reward is, though, for descending through this part of the level. I mean, there's lots of items scattered around, but I can't remember if there's like one weapon or one spell or a ring. I don't remember. I do remember years ago falling through the holes in this floor many times. I feel like that's the difference, at least in my mind, of playing a level like this, I don't know, years ago when I was younger and... Oh, we're firing at the same exact cadence. Yeah, but when I was younger, less experienced with these games. I think it was... Maybe I was even more lacking in, like, patience than I was lacking in skill. I mean, yes, I was lacking in skill, but I think often, you know, an area like this where you can just fall through the floor and die, often it's because I was just, you know, maybe getting intimidated or, look at this dude hiding right over there in that doorway. Is he going to aggro? No. Huh. But yeah, I think the intimidation factor's there, the fear factor's there, and you just kind of give into it, and then you lose your composure, you lose any sense of patience, and you just start rushing and being sloppy and making rash decisions, whereas if you just take your time going through a level like this, because oh, he got knocked off. Okay, so there's apparently a drop right here, because it didn't look like he died. No, he didn't. He's right there. Because, yeah, like, I've played this DLC a bunch of times. I generally know the layout of it and what the deal is with it, but yeah, it's been a couple years. I do forget some details, and I'm kind of a... Oh, okay, we can shoot through the floorboards, sure. Yeah, I'm almost approaching this as if I don't know it. As if I'm learning the layout all over again for the first time. And I'm just taking my time and trying to play in a way that I will have fun, too. Because if I were just rushing through this, it actually wouldn't be much fun to me. Oh, here's a nice shortcut. I think this is... Yeah, right here. Beautiful. Just makes the level smaller, just shrinks everything for you. Which I got everybody over here, yeah. Yep. Haven't used a bonfire since. When I run through this level the first time when everything's still frozen, I don't mind using the bonfires, but once it's opened up like this, I'd prefer not to use them, and then in that case, any backtracking I need to do, or extra exploring I want to do, I've already cleared out the enemies and I don't have to do it again. And like I was saying earlier, there's just, you're just spoiled with healing items in these DLCs. You have so many ways to replenish your HP. And I just had a weird thought about something. I'm just, again, in my mind, trying to piece everything together and making sure I didn't miss anything. Because, right, so that's the bonfire in the little house. Okay. But yeah, there's so many ways to heal yourself, even as a mage. I mean, as you're probably noticing, I'm popping like the amber and twilight herbs all the time. I have plenty of those to go around. I can use spells like repair to keep my sword spiffy. So yeah, there's really no need to just keep repeatedly tagging bonfires, and it's easy enough to warp around between them. So yeah. I don't think there's anything over here. I'm kind of getting into that mode where we're getting there. We're getting toward the end. And I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm not forgetting any major pathways. So before we go the rest of the way down that descent rather, I'm just going to pop in this lockstone. And then what does it do? Oh, just right here. Duh. But yeah, let's see if my memory's right, and this is the Bloodborne hat. Durgo's hat. Yep, sure is. Ah, heck yeah, the old bell helm. Picked that up earlier. Yeah, why would you not want to do a playthrough exclusively wearing that helm? Where's Durgo's hat? Why am I missing it? I thought it would be right down here. Oh, there it is. Yup. Sick. Monocled hat favored by blue-eyed Durgo extends arrow range. The hero Durgo, an expert bowman, and his brother-in-law Random defended their homeland against aggressors. In spite of Lannifer's policy of isolationism, Durgo was well known even beyond its domain. Its domain. Durgo. Blue-eyed Durgo. So Durgo's a person? Durgo's a clan? Maybe that's like a translation, localization thing, because there actually are quite a few localization hiccups in DS2. Either way, sick hat. It'd be fun to craft an entire character, an entire build just around that hat. Your brother-in-law, though. Just a dude running around with his bow and his brother-in-law. Pretty weird. Fairly random, but sure. Sure. Just being bros with your brother-in-law. Yeah. She's your sister. She's my wife. Let's go shoot our bows together. See ya. I don't know that there was anything... I don't think there's anything else in here. No. There's nothing I need now that the level's unfrozen. Alright, cool. No, we're just sweeping the whole place. Just sweeping the whole level. And I think I've gotten pretty much everything here. Alright, so we can continue our descent. I'm enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot more fun here than I was in both Sholva and Broom Tower. I went into this thinking my personal ranking for these DLCs was Ivory, Sunken, Broom. Sunken and Broom are really interesting. I probably would still keep that ranking because I love Sin and I love the aesthetics of Sholva, like the color palette. There's a lot of unique assets in Sholva. Yeah, I don't have the range for him here. And I touched on that a little bit in the last episode, but like Broom Tower, I deduct a few points because they reused base game assets from Iron Keep, like just a little bit. They created new assets for sure, but it just feels like the least new, the least fresh of the 3 DLCs, I guess. And it's old Iron King. We've already dealt with him in the base game. We know his deal. The Nadalia stuff is really cool, though. Nadalia is probably the most interesting of the Manus fragments, I think. With Ilana probably being the least interesting. Alsana's really cool, too. I think I kind of prefer Alsana as a character, but Nadalia's probably objectively like the most complex, the most interesting. Oh, Ring of Rejuvenation. Oh yeah, duh. It's up here. Or rather, the Ring of Resistance. My bad. Yeah, there's dogs down here. That's right. That's right. I wonder if I can draw them, because there's a ton. There's a ton. There's like 6 or 7 dogs down here, I think. No luck on the Alluring Skull. There's also the spell Yearn, which sort of works like an Alluring Skull. The way I see it is Alluring Skulls are a lot easier to come by, whereas repair powders are not. Oh boy. Maybe I draw them over and snipe them. But yeah, that's why spell-wise I go for repair, but then item-wise I go for the Alluring Skulls instead of taking up more slots with, fail. More slots with Yearn as well, but Yearn is super useful. If Dark Fog didn't take up 2 slots, I'd probably use Yearn. Nice. Yep, I got a couple of them. All I need to do is just thin out this pack a little bit, and 2-3 dogs I can deal with. I just don't want like 6 of them running at me. But yeah, to finish that train of thought from earlier, Shulva is probably still number 2 for me. There's a little more content in Broom Tower, and I love Fume Knight. But then, there's Blue Smelter in Iron Passage, and just a lot of gank squads. And I'm not saying there aren't gank squads in Shulva too, but Shulva's it's just more bespoke. It's more unusual. I think Shulva just probably adds a little more to the game, because as much as I love Fume Knight, and I do think he's one of the best bosses in the game, we fought Smelter Demon, we fought the Pursuer, we fought Velstadt, we fought lots of dudes with big, melee weapons. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no! Retreat! Chug! Oh boy. It's going downhill. We got it under control now. Got it under control. That was sketchy for a moment. Whereas, yeah, like we fought all these dudes with big melee weapons. Whereas, and Shulva, like Sin is so unique. And again, in my opinion, best dragon battle prior to Elden Ring that FromSoft had ever done. Caster Head, be wary of Duo. Ah, that's right. That's right. I think there's an Invader and then there's a Knight down here. Yeah. And they're guarding a Loyce Knight, but we're going to use this elevator first. So yeah, I think it's very, very close for me, because in a lot of ways, I think Broom Tower as a level is probably a little more impressive, but yeah, I don't know. Objectively, it might even be the better level, but for me personally, I don't... Okay, maybe this was just a shortcut then. Because this should be the broken staircase, yeah? Yep. Again, just wanted to see with my own eyes to connect the dots. Yeah, I'm starting to put together a good kind of mental map of this level again. And even though I'm not done with Ivory King, I can tell it's still number 1 for me. And I think, well, Burnt Ivory King is, because that's a criticism that gets leveled at DS2, and I think it's a valid. Whereas some criticisms of DS2, I very much don't agree with. I think it's valid to critique the game for having too many bosses be just big dudes with big swords. That's valid. There are too many of those. Castaway Witch Donna. Sure, come on, Donna. That's why I love the bosses in Demon Souls so much. A lot of them are, I guess most of them really, when you think about it, are gimmick bosses, but they're all just so unique and so memorable. Oh, I think Donna's got Dark Orb too. Oh, and there's the knight. That fog's doing its job though. Wow, that was too close for comfort. Oof. Oh, okay. Well, Donna's going down. This knight one-on-one's not going to be a problem. So yeah, Ivory King, he's, another dude with a big sword, a lightsaber, more specifically. But that boss battle is just so unique. From has never done anything like it again, and never did anything quite like it before it. Here we go. Here's bro number 2. This is exciting. I love how you just find them waiting for their lord. They rise out of their chair, take a bow, and they seek the chaos. Heck yeah. But Burnt Ivory King, it's so unique. I mean, as you'll see later if you're not super familiar with the fight, no matter how many times you do that boss battle, it'll never be exactly the same twice. There's just so many variables. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome. And I suppose I'll take a tiger boss over Alana. Yeah, Alana's just not that interesting, actually. I remembered her being like way harder as a boss, kind of way more interesting. And yeah, there's just not as much meat on the bones with her as I feel like there is with Alsana and Nadalia. Well, and I think them just representing Manus's fear and solitude, those are probably just more interesting aspects of Manus, or of anybody, than Wrath. Like, Wrath is what it is, right? I wonder if I can take out this guy from here. I don't know if he'll drop down and fight me. And I think because Old Iron King is pretty despicable as a character. Oh, look at that. The fog spread. Beautiful. I'm just watching someone die from a lower floor. I don't think it's going to fully kill whoever that enemy is. I'll get him later, though. This is about to get real sweaty, though. This is going to be ugly. I almost guarantee it. I am not going to get through this smoothly. The Old Iron King. It's like, we get it. He conquered. He was evil. He wanted power. He wanted money and materials and land. And even the Sunken King's a little more interesting because there's a lot of evidence to suggest the Sunken King is probably the Rotten. Oh boy. If the Sunken King isn't the Rotten, it's kind of weird because he would be the one king we never fought, or we never, to our knowledge, encounter in the game. So I think the Rotten probably makes the most sense, even though the Rotten is like this sort of amalgamation of all these different people and corpses. And I think the consciousness, the soul, is probably the Sunken King. It would make sense, the poison and all of that. Black Gulch. The depths, like being at the bottom of something, which is it's a key idea in pretty much all of Miyazaki's games, and I would say just all of From Software's games at this point. Even like Shadow Tower Abyss, like just the name alone, it's always this like something at the bottom, something in the depths. It's very Lovecraftian, right? Like there's knowledge and revelations in a pit at the bottom of something, at the deepest place, the deepest point. Now, is that close enough that soul's going to go into that golem? I don't think. Just got to keep kiting these guys. I just don't really have the kind of build to stand there and go toe-to-toe with like 3 of them, because I'm going to get animation locked fighting one, and then that's going to open me up to damage to another. So... wow, long leash for you, huh? Oh. Yeah, definitively cannot backstab these guys. It does not appear to be possible. Oh, the poise. It's crazy. It's a little much. Oh, look at this. Some classic clipping through the wall. Oh, and look at this. It looks like one of the ghost dudes from Drangleic Castle pops out of the wall and gets you. Oh, and that's a mimic. There's another mimic. That's the avarice, the symbol of avarice. You get it from this chest. I remember that now. So ideally, oh, Petrified Dragonbone and Twinkling Titanite. So ideally, I want to draw him away from this golem. So I think we're going to use Dark Fog. I got to get some spell charges back first. Nice. Come on. Come play over this way. Come on. Fog really might do it if I can just keep him occupied here. Yep. Come on. Nice. Yeah, there it is. An essential item in Dark Souls. Gotta have this. Increases soul absorption and item discovery, but steadily drains HP. Yeah, really interesting with the mimics in this concept of avarice. I mean, it's been widely discussed within the community, but there's a lot more to it. They're not just these weird treasure chest monsters. There's a lot of significance to it, which is pretty interesting to dig into. The idea that this treasure chest head is like the symbol of a old god with a connection to avarice, and that the mimics were part of, they were once just this clan, but they were sort of exiled and punished for the sin of avarice or greed. Simpler way of putting it. Kind of an interesting little puzzle once we get back up into the top room with the golems, which are now unfrozen. And our last knight is up here. We're getting into the home stretch, actually. Like, there's not a ton of level left, actually. Which is kind of bittersweet, because I can't wait to do the Ivory King boss battle. Yep, okay. So this golem is ready to go. Yeah, I can't wait to do the final boss battle, but then I'll be a little sad for this to be over, because this has been super fun. Very few complaints about this DLC at all. Most of those are saved for the very end, which, yeah, if you're wondering if I'm going to go into the frigid outskirts and fight the tigers, I'm going to do it. I did Blue Smelter. I did the Gank Squad in Shulva. I got to do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. Because it's been like, oh yeah, I can't get to it. Huh. So I I wonder if I can lure some enemies over to activate them. Huh. Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 years since I've done this DLC, but it's been even longer since I've done. I think it's Lud and Zallen. Zallen? It's been even longer since I've done them. I've probably done them like, I don't know, 3, 4 times, maybe ever. like ever in 10 years. Come on. I don't think he's going to come over by the golems. Huh. Yeah, he's on a shorter leash. And I don't know that we can get this retainer. Although they're, they kind of travel a long way to chase you. These kinds are different, though. The ones who are just aggroed and ready to go with their staffs. It's going to activate this golem, though. If you kill an aggroed golem, will its soul go into another golem? These are the deepest questions of the Dark Souls 2 universe. Oh boy. Oh, I'm trapped. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Oh boy. Oh, this is the soul sucking. This is like a Lant. Yeah, there goes like 5,000 souls. Boom. That's actually kind of cool. I guess it's not exactly like a Lant, but... Oh, I don't know. Our knight's right here. I don't think this is a trap. I don't think there's... I remember he's in a huge room, but it almost feels like a trap, doesn't it? I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is. Hurrah for ally. Yeah. No, it's our last night. What's up, bro? I'll see you in a little bit. Lots of branching paths in here. Okay, oh, this is a shortcut. I know where this is. This is by the cathedral. Yep. Some of these shortcuts feel less functional, like there's not a huge reason why I would use them. They're kind of just more impressive because it shows how tight this level is designed. I do suppose, though, if you were dying in this area, that shortcut... Oh, look, this is the guy we got with the fog earlier. That shortcut would give you a better chance of getting back into this area or something. If you felt you missed something, you could use the cathedral bonfire to get back in here, but yeah, I don't know. I think in some ways it's just From showing off. Like, ooh, look at our tightly designed level. Flame butterfly, a couple of those. We'll take them. And again, a lot of these items are not random. You know, you could use those flame butterflies in that section with the braziers that we lit with the flexile sentries, that cave. You know, we haven't picked one of these up yet. I've been waiting to see a drop for one of these. I'm actually surprised it took this long. Wielded by the sorcerers of Eleum Loyce, imbued with a magic that is released with a strong attack. Yeah, basically just saying these sorcerers were among Eleum Loyce's staunchest defenders. It's a cool sword. You could do a very cool, like Eleum Loyce soldier build. You can obviously do a Loyce Knight build, which is a pretty iconic look. A lot of people have done that, but it would kind of be cool to do, like I was saying earlier, a build based on like one of these soldiers, one of these warriors. Yeah, I mentioned Mountaintops the Giants earlier from Elden Ring. I feel like in a lot of ways that was Miyazaki kind of doing like the Land of the Giants, like he intended to do in Demon Souls. That was the final archstone that was cut from the game due to time restraints. Um, you see it broken in the Nexus, unusable, and people have data mined, the game, and there were assets. There was some like sort of a skeleton of what that area would have been. So I feel like in Elden Ring he was kind of finally going back and like doing this snowy giant world, but I think in Elden Ring you become very spoiled by places like Stormvale and Raya Lucaria, that when you get to this big snowy land and a lot of it's just like big open, oh nice, big open combat arenas, I found it just a little underwhelming. There's definitely a few really cool encounters there, like the Vike Everjail and stuff like that, but yeah, for the most part, I don't know. Would you look at that? I can actually kill them. Will they aggro though? I had no idea I could just hit them. This whole time I was thinking I had to lure an enemy over. Yeah, the sword's at risk. I don't know, I guess we can keep repairing it. Doesn't make that much sense to keep using a sword like this to basically hit a rock. Dark Fog will not work on them. What about magic? Maybe I can Soul Spear through both of them? Nice. Yeah, Elden Ring delivers in so many ways, but at least for me, when it came to, this kind of aesthetic, like sort of the snowy painted world vibe, which they've always done so well. Oh, but look at that. It activates this golem. That's interesting. I'm learning the ways of the golems in Dark Souls 2. Yeah, Elden Ring just kind of didn't deliver in this department in the way that I would like it to. I don't know, maybe in the expansion, maybe in Shadow of the Erd Tree, we get a snowy area. Who knows? Again, that's a game. Oh, the curved nail greatsword. That's a game that delivers in so many ways. It feels a little silly to nitpick the few things that maybe it misses the mark on. An ominous blade forbidden and sealed away by the Ivory King. Formed by rock and tree. Whoa. Look at this thing. Whoa. See, that's where this is starting to feel a little like DS3, with like weapon arts. That's a pretty unique attack animation. I feel like with the really trolly NPCs and, like Durgo's hat and weapons like that, you're kind of reminded, hey, they were probably beginning to work on DS3 at this point. I'm sure they're working on DS3 at this point, and obviously well underway with Bloodborne. So yeah, you can feel the influence encroaching just a little bit in the Lost Crowns DLCs. But hey, I would say we're ready. I think we're ready. I think we've done enough putzing around. I think we have pretty much explored every nook and cranny. I might have missed a few things, but we've seen just about all of Eleum Loyce that we have access to. It's time. It's time for the big showdown. Like I said, this boss battle, it's never the same. It's never the same. You could do it 100 times and be a little different every time. I'm trying to think. Because I don't see me doing a lot of casting down there. I think it's going to mostly be melee based. Because there's this kind of odd thing where if you actually kill the charred Loyce Knights too quickly, you don't give your Loyce Knights enough time to seal their portals, so by the time the Burnt Ivory King shows up, you still have charred Loyce Knights running around. So there's this pretty careful dance if you want to do it right. Or rather, if you just want to do it so that you're fighting the Burnt Ivory King one-on-one. You need to dance around just for a little bit. So I see me just kind of kiting some of these charred knights around. Boy, they hit like trucks too. And they're all really unique. Like there's a caster. I think there's one with like a hammer or maybe a scythe. And then there's ones with swords. So there's a bunch of different types of them too, which is really cool. There's just so many variables. And then you have your crew of knights, and it's pretty chaotic. It's pretty chaotic. And I feel like it's advised to, How random you can bring in Lucatiel for this. How about that? Boy, so you can roll down with an enormous crew. I don't know if she has any more unique dialogue for us. No. Just reminding us that many of the knights went down and never returned. Well, this is it. It's time. Yeah. Wow. What's up, boys? Yeah. Heck yeah. They look as ready as ever. Yeah, I want to drop the weight. I'm not going to be casting. Let's get it. Oh my god, it's so badass. The old chaos. Wow. Here they come. The Charred Knights. So I'm going to try to take out these first three pretty quickly. I mean, again, how badass is this? I mean, this is just it's a war zone. Oh. Oh, boy. Lots of poise, lots of reach. These Charred Knights will kill you if you're not careful. Oh, and look at that fire tracking me. Again, not a huge rush here, because you want to give your knights... See, there goes the first one. He's sacrificing himself to freeze that first portal, and that's what we want. And just like with the King's Pet, how you can do that fight before dispelling the weather. Or excuse me, rather, before getting the priestess's eyes. So you'll fight a semi-invisible version of the tiger. You also don't have to go around and get all the Loyce Knights for this fight. You can do it with just the one knight who's here. But not only is that harder, but I think it's just way cooler to roll deep. You know what I mean? Show up with a full squad. This feels like the canon way to do this fight. And again, the level's just sick. Like, why wouldn't you want to... Oh. Why would you not want to explore it? Okay, there's portal number 2. See, actually shoving their swords into the portals. It's like, oh my god. Sacrificing themselves. Trying to keep the chaos at bay yet again. So I think the idea is, like, these are all the knights that went down with the Ivory King and also became corrupted by the chaos. And there were just a few who survived or maybe didn't go down for whatever reason, and they were just waiting. Waiting for him, waiting for you, whatever. Oh, yeah, the tracking on that's crazy. We're getting there, though. We're getting there. It still gives me goosebumps. Oh, he's activating his sword. Still gives me goosebumps when that Oblivion portal pops up. So we want to finish these two off as quickly as possible now. Nice work. Nice teamwork. So I got one left with me. Some of their rare drops, you see. Right here. Oh boy. Hell yeah. Oh, and that audio cue. Like that synth note. Alright, I'm gonna go radio silence for this. Enjoy the burnt Ivory King. Let's go. Yelling Alsana's name in his last gasp. And we're going to bow to the Ivory King. We're going to bow. We're not going to shrug. And there's his crown. His movement and behavior actually reminds me quite a bit of Aland. Sort of like a more aggressive, faster version of Aland. But we did what we came to do. We put him down. We got his crown. A faint heat lingers in the ancient crown. Crown of the Ivory King, who once ruled this land. Far to the north, a king built a great cathedral to appease the raging flame, but when he sensed the degradation of his soul, he left without a word, leaving everything to Alsana, who had, unbeknownst, found a place at his side. Man, now to check that soul. The proud Ivory King was ever merciful and devoted himself to the protection of his great land until he was devoured by the flames of chaos. The wondrous soul of this great king. See, great, merciful. They're really communicating to you that this guy was the real deal. I mean, to the point where he sacrificed himself for the thing, the place, the people he loved. Yeah, it reminds me sort of, the fight reminds me of Aland. The lore reminds me a lot of Artorias. A lot of shades of other great, memorable characters with Burnt Ivory King. And I mean, just look at this place. The old chaos, just waterfalls, just torrents of lava, sort of bed of chaos style branches. It's kind of a reminder that this world is getting weird, right? Leading up to Dark Souls 3, like this world's atrophying. Things are coming apart at the seams. It's getting weird. And even under the earth, you can't forget about the chaos. It's, yeah, man. Well, let's go report our deed to Alsana.
You've granted my one wish. Now, I have no regrets. I was born amidst the dark. Long ago, in the depths of the abyss, my father perished. The dark shattered into tiny pieces, one of which was me. How frightened I was. A frail thing, born from but a splinter of dark. I felt that I might simply disappear. I am, in fact, the incarnation of my father's fears. I saw that the king of this land was strong. I sought him only to sustain myself, to smother my fears. Now, I realize that he may have known all along. I was born of fear, and my Lord provided comfort. And so, here I remain, heiress to my Lord's wishes, watching over chaos. Until the end of time. The knights of Eleum Loyce were swallowed by the chaos. Where their souls still remain, I pray for their deliverance.
Yeah, so right there, she's hinting at this sort of farming side quest that you can do now, where she wants up to 50 Loyce souls, which is quite a grind. It really is. Now, you can keep going back down to the old chaos to get them, or be summoned into other players' worlds to farm them. She wants up to 50, though. You have to give her 50 to actually break down these barriers, go up and talk to her, get her soul, and be able to buy the Burnt Ivory King set back in Majula. That's a grind I'm not going to be doing here on this episode. We're already 3 hours in, but oh, and you can also get the soul, the sword, the namesake sword, the Eleum Loyce sword, which is like half white, half black. It actually looks a little bit like the fierce deity sword from Majora's Mask. And I feel like the half black, half white, it's kind of meant to represent her and the Burnt Ivory King, her darkness, his light. 50 souls is a bit much for an item that doesn't drop very generously. I think maybe 10, 15, 20 would have done it. 50 is pretty extreme. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that here. But now that we have all 3 crowns, though, if you're wondering what I'm doing, we have all 3 crowns in addition to Vendrick's King's Crown. So we're coming back to Undead Crypt, where previously on my base game playthrough, I slayed his sort of hollow shell that was left here. Because very like Ronnie style from Elden Ring, right? Vendrick sort of renounces his flesh. And you just sort of find his husk down here in the crypt roaming around dragging his sword. But behind that husk, you find his actual armor in a pile. And after you have all the crowns, you can examine. You'll be transported into his memories and talk to him once more for some special dialogue and a very special power-up. Memory of the King.
Seeker of fire, deliverer of crowns. What do you see in the flames? Find the crowns and your own answers. The crowns hold the strength of lords from times long past. Seek adversity as befits you, seeker of fire, coveter of the throne. Seeker of fire, conqueror of dark. I too sought fire once. With fire, they say, a true king can harness the curse. A lie, but I knew no better. Seeker of fire, you know not the depth of dark within you. It grows deeper still, the more flame you covet. Flame, oh, flame.
Between this batch of dialogue from Vendrick and that last batch
I see you've subdued
from Alsana, this is like some of the biggest lore dumps I feel like we get in the game. Like some of just the most direct dialogue in a game that's full of vagaries and subjectivity.
but then dissipated. And yet, traces of its existence endured. Each fragment, thirsting for power, spread dark with no relent. My dear Chandra was one such fragment. A feeble, tiny thing that thirsted for power more than any other, driven by insatiable lust for a worthy.
Fun fact, this voice actor who's excellent also was the voice actor for Marvelous Chester in the Artorias of the Abyss DLC and for Osiris in Dark Souls 3.
Shape, we can bury the false legends of yore. Only
Also, Alsana's voice actress was also the voice actress for Priscilla, Guinevere, and Maiden Estrella. And here we are, unlocking the full power of the crowns. So now if we wear one of the crowns, upon death we won't hollow like we normally would. We're now immune to those effects.
will follow.
The ashen mist fades. And that's our last visit with Vendrick. That's it. Heat radiates from the ancient crowns. So that gives you an idea that something's different. I don't know that the flavor text changes, though. I don't know that they... Yeah, I don't really think they spell it out for you. All right, well, Vendrick, adios. Vendrick also hints there, kind of like, find another way, you know? Which I feel like also tees up Dark Souls 3 in the deep, and Lothric refusing to light the flame, link the flame rather. So I feel like, I don't know, I got 400,000 souls. I should probably head back to Majula and spend them before heading into this final awful part of the DLC. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's also occurring to me, my Moonlight Greatsword is, well, currently has raw infusion, which is the most optimized way to scale it, depending on your stat allocations. But I think now my intelligence is so high, yeah, I'm 50 plus at this point, I'll get just a little more bang for my buck by switching to a magical infusion. Yeah, so that might be one more pit stop before the final part of Eleum Loyce. Go see Macduff, change my infusion. Because I don't think he has, yeah, because I know you get the burnt ivory set after you give Alsana 50 Loyce souls. Do you have anything new and interesting? No, not really. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And I'm also sure you won't sell out. Cocky bastard. See, I think we're going to go to the Bastille real quick. Go hit up Macduff. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm aware I'm just kind of running some errands here before the final chapter. I may leave these or cut them in the final YouTube upload. We'll see. If we skip ahead at any point, you'll know why. Because I was putzing around and running errands. Yeah, so we're raw. Just looking here. Yeah, we don't want enchanted. We definitely want magic. Yeah, because you see that right weapon power, it's 628 now. I think it was like 600 before, maybe. I don't know, something like that. All right. Okay, here we go. Oh, God. I've been dreading this since I started Sunken King. What do we want equipped here? Does it even matter? Well, I got a game plan. Yeah, we're going to use the Bright Bug. This is the only boss battle in the entire game that I highly recommend using a Bright Bug for. It's the only one I think you truly, truly need it. Maybe the Gank Trio in Shulva. There we go. Bye-bye. But my strategy here, because the winds obscuring our view come and go every, like, I don't know if it's 15, 20 seconds, something like that. Oh, there we go. Yep, I'm trying to find this little summoning area. We should have 3 NPC summons. I'm going to grab all 3. And they're going to help to draw aggro. Vengarl, so random. They're going to help to draw aggro. Yeah, there we go. There's our view. And this is the way we want to go. Well, I make a dead sprint to the boss gate. That's all. That's the only reason they're here. And I'm going to dismiss them right before I go into the boss gate. Pop a bright bug. Because I can't use a bright bug if I have summons with me. So that's my game plan. We will see how it works. But oh boy. Oh God. Where's the summons? Come on, guys. Get involved here. Do your job. That's why I got my shield out too, to try to block moments like that, but obviously that didn't work that time. Yeah, all you really want to do is kind of orient yourself when you get out of the coffin and spot the buildings in the distance and then kind of follow this side hill. You want to feel like you're on the side of this hill moving in this direction where all the structures and buildings you see, they're just off to your left and you just keep pushing this way. And eventually you get to a cliffside where I think there's a ring, there's an item. It's like Ring of the Living or something. You pick that up and then drop down to the boss gate. So I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, like I didn't know what I was doing my first or second or third time here, it's awful. It's pure torture. It is. It's sadistic. It's stupid. I don't think this adds anything to the DLC. You know, the reindeer or the horses or whatever they are, these electric ice 4-legged creatures, they're awesome. Like the concept is so cool. You look at the design works book, like it's such a cool design. I just wish they had been used in a slightly more meaningful way versus just being torpedoes at you while you're blinded. Yeah, see, here's the cliff that I was talking about. That's kind of a dead end. I mean, you obviously don't want to... Oh, Jesus. You don't want to fall into it. Okay, I'm dead. See, and there's Vengarl. I like how Vengarl's like right behind me, but doing nothing to help. So there's the bridge. Yep, Ring of the Living. So you obviously don't want to fall down into that chasm, but right here we'll just drop down onto the bridge. The bridge leads us right to the fog gate. So that's your easiest strat for making a beeline here. And there's some items and some stuff in those buildings if you really feel inclined to explore them, but I don't believe there's anything too essential. You can actually hear the tigers growling. And we're going to start sending the NPCs back. I'm just making sure no enemies are charging me through this tunnel because the leashes are pretty much non-existent. They can get all the way back here. Also just appreciating how amazing this crown is. Either this one or the Sunken Crown is my favorite. It might be this one. That's a really cool crown. I'm also just admiring how awesome you can make characters look in this game. For a 10-year-old game, this character creators, I feel like it almost doesn't get enough credit. You can really flex it. Yeah, we're just gonna pop the bright bug. We're probably gonna need to pop a second one midway through. You basically just want to take out the first tiger as fast as possible. I think it's when you get it down to like a third, the second tiger. Yeah, Lud. You want to take out Lud as fast as possible. Same exact strat as earlier. Oh my God, look at that damage. Look at that damage. Oh, that's disgusting. That's called erasing a health bar. Both what I'm doing and what Lud just did. That's deleting HP right there. Okay, here comes Zallen. We're going to ignore Zallen. Oh, we're going to do a quick peach heal. Get onto the belly. Try to avoid these homing projectiles. Unsuccessfully. Nice dodge, and Lud is down. Oh, took a hit in the process. Should be good, though. I should be good. I think I got this. Honestly, the NPC summons are not worth it. They just, because they buff the two tigers so much. And they're idiots. I mean, they're freaking useless, and the tigers will just aggro to you and ignore the NPCs, so it's really not worth it. This is how you do it. Pop a bright bug and just try to stick either under the belly or by those hind legs as much as possible. And yeah, you're going to have to time some dodge as well, you know. But you saw I was able to pretty much take out Lud before Zallen even came over and became a factor. I mean, kind of hit me there at the end as I was killing Lud, but it's an intimidation factor thing. Oh my god, that is so much damage. Yeah, we got it. Good night. Again, tell me what that adds to this DLC, why this needed to be here. I guess on one hand, it's like, oh, it's like extra content. It's like, sure, I guess. I mean, this idea of a totally stormy, blinding, like frigid outskirts area is pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, that'll warp me out. I just want to... I guess part of me just doesn't believe that's all there is to it. Like, you get their souls. Zallen's duty was the mercy killing of exiles. All 7 beasts had a specific duty, so we meet 3 of the 7, I guess. The other 4, who knows? They could be dead. Oh, that's kind of lame. They both even have the same soul flavor text. It's just, yeah. It's weird. Yeah, part of me just wants to believe there's something else here. You know, like you get the Pharaoh's Mask and Broom Tower, you get the Flower Skirt and Shulva. There's no, like, goofy item here. Yeah, it's weird. And I was just saying, like, the idea of this area, this part of Eleum Loyce, I don't mind necessarily. It's just the way they did it. Just the way they did it. And they kind of bring this idea back in Ash's Variandel, and it's not as obnoxious there, but who cares? It's over. All 3 Lost Crown DLCs are complete. On top of my base game playthrough, this was awesome. This was probably the most fun I've had with DS2 since its release. I've obviously played it a ton over the last 10 years, but I don't know, something about this playthrough felt special, and I genuinely had a really good time, especially here at Eleum Loyce. So if you're still with me, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this too, and maybe it'll inspire you to do your own playthrough. If you've been weary of DS2 because of its reputation or just haven't played it in a long time. But if you did enjoy this Let's Play, let me know down in the comments. Subs are always appreciated on the channel too. And you're also welcome to come hang out over in my Discord server, Terapop's Treehouse, or you can further support the channel and unlock new and archived bonus content from me over at patreon.com/Terapop. All those links are down in the description. So happy 10th birthday to Dark Souls 2. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you next time.